So I did a video yesterday about dieting and what diet works best for you. And I had somebody reach out to me who, you know, the individuals who I alluded to as far as like with their diet stuff, this person wasn't part of that. But if I think about it, they could fall into the same category too. And pretty much what they said yesterday was like, well, Jay, I don't really appreciate the video you put out there. It kind of hurt my feelings. And my response was, good. I'm glad it hurt your feelings. And she was kind of shocked for a second when I said that. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, Mary, her name's not Mary, by the way. I'm like, Mary, listen, the bottom line is what you need to hear and what you want to hear, sometimes are two completely different things, all right? And you should be lucky enough that you're working with somebody who's more interested in being honest with you and telling you the advice you need to get to your goal versus somebody who's just gonna fucking take your money, yes you to death, and make you think you're doing great when in reality, you're sucking ass, so you're not getting anywhere near your goal. Now, what I'm gonna say also is this does not apply to new people just starting off their fitness journey. Because a big part of the journey is just you getting in the door, doing something, starting the process, and just you coming through those doors a couple times a week, even if you're messing everything else up, it's still a step in the right direction. This video pertains to experienced veteran clients who've been with somebody for like 3, 4, 5 years, who've been through all the beginning stuff already, and now they're actually serious about their fitness and they're trying to make progress going forward. So all you new people watching this video, this does not apply to you, okay? For all my veterans, right? Lost my train of thought. Yeah, so, and let me just say, there's a difference between being an asshole and then being a negative, condescending dick, all right? You should never be negative, you should never be condescending, you should never put people down or name call or make people feel like shit, because I know a few trainers who do that, right? And I wouldn't work with them either. Like, the goal is for me to come in and feel better about myself and do better versus, having somebody come in and put me down. And I mean, if that's what I was looking for, I would have I'm not just gonna make a comment. I'm gonna skip that one so I don't get destroyed on it. But I would have, if I'm looking to get, I'm not looking to get condescended or put down when, I'm hiring somebody to help me get to a goal, right? So you should be, you want to work with somebody who's gonna be honest with you 100% of the time. And for this particular individual, I told him, listen, I'm more worried about you getting towards your goal in a healthy way and accomplishing those goals versus you coming in and giving me your $200 a month and getting nowhere fast. If you're looking for somebody to hold your hand and tell you everything's gonna be okay, you can go do anything else in the world because that's what society does. Society is gonna hold your hand and tell you that it's okay. I'm not going to. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm gonna keep it, up front and foremost with you. And if I think you're fucking up, I'm gonna tell you. Whether you wanna hear that advice or not hear that advice is up to you. And I'll be honest, I've had a few clients before in the past who've left me because the truth was they didn't like it. You know what? I'm sorry, but the truth is the truth. My opinion is my opinion. You're paying me for my professional opinion. That's my professional opinion. What you're doing isn't working. You need to stop. Bottom line, all right? Good example, I got a bunch of people over the years who come in and they're doing like 3 or 4 different programs at the same time. They're taking my classes, they're CrossFitting, they're doing P90X at home, they want to run a marathon somewhere out of the blue. I don't know, they're doing a million different things. And they're trying to do all these different training programs and their diet's fucked up. I mean, at least if your diet was right and you were eating enough to sustain all that, okay, maybe you can get a benefit out of it. But, the bottom line is they all come in and they say, Jay, you know what? I just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. What about your feelings, right? What about your goals? I mean, at the end of the day, anybody you're working with more than likely is a professional, all right? And it's not about whether you hurt our feelings or not. And the biggest piece of advice I can tell you is, if this is any of you guys watching TV, watching this video, by the way, and you're like, wow, is he talking to me? Well, then maybe it's a good thing you watch this video, because here's what I'm gonna tell you. When you try to be everything and when you try to do everything, you end up accomplishing nothing. Because you're so spread out and you're so pulled apart in so many different directions, you never give anything a chance to really work, because all the work you did in one spot is more than likely being pulled apart in another spot. I see a lot of people, they do 2 or 3 workouts a day. They're trying to do intermittent fasting, low carb, and do 2 weight training sessions a day. All that stuff isn't in alignment with itself. What you need to do is figure out a program, stay on the path, and don't let anything take you off focus. Now, I got one of my best friends, best clients. I've never really said a friend before, but yeah, Joe, you're welcome. So one of my good clients, Joe, we had a conversation about this like 2 or 3 years ago, and Joe was that person, right? Joe would go out, he would try to do CrossFit, he would come to my classes, he would do all this other stuff, and you know, the kid was always the first one done with the workouts, but he looked like ass. Like he was losing his muscle mass, he wasn't losing any body fat, and you could just tell he was run down. So I pulled him aside one day and I said, Joe, you know, listen, you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you don't come down and take my classes all the time, dude. Like, you gotta do what's best for you. And you know, he sat down, he waited out, and I noticed over those next couple weeks, he kind of phased himself out of my classes. He still comes down. He actually trains for me now. He trains my wife for me because my wife's a little tone deaf to me. Whatever, and he's a great trainer. But he started changing what he was doing. Instead of trying to be everything to everybody, he got in a routine, he stuck to the routine, he didn't let anything knock him, of course. And now the kid's probably put on like 20, 25 pounds of muscle. His body fat percentage is probably in the really low teens, if not lower than that. His endurance is through the roof, and he's got more energy, and he just looks better. Like, he just looks better. Now, I can tell you for a fact, when I first had that conversation with Joe, I don't think he knew how to take that. I think he might have felt a little hurt. But, you know, 18 to 24 months later, if you ask Joe about, hey, Jay, remember that conversation you had with Jay? Like, looking back on it, how do you feel now? He'd probably look at you and say, you know what? It's exactly what I needed to hear, and I'm glad Jay was the kind of person who was willing to tell me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. Because most of these people out in the fitness industry, they're just gonna let you keep spinning your wheels and doing what you want, as long as you keep giving your money, all right? And I get it, they got a business they gotta run, but at the same time, people are putting confidence and trust to us that we're gonna do the right thing for them, and that's a big part of it. So hopefully for any of you guys that need to hear this message that helped out, any of you guys who just had a big aha moment, hopefully it worked out for you guys too. If you're not doing so, do me a favor, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that other stuff. We're gonna be putting out more videos each week. If you like what you heard, do me a favor, click the like button below, share it with a friend, and stay tuned each week for more fun-filled fitness excitement with a little bit of entertainment swiped in there. Drink water, stay motivated. See you in the next one.